Welcome to TMZ Live. So for the last 3 months, we have been beating the drum about OUTA, out with their asses.
It's more than 3 months. You're cutting us, you're selling us short.
Well, time flies.
It was last year, but yes.
So the idea is that Congress has failed doing its job, and the only way for people to regain control is to basically throw everybody out, even the ones you like, and reset things and let people know that if we elect you guys, you better do what we want, which is keeping the government open, compromising, and all sorts of things, or we're going to throw you out too.
Right. Now, the critics of OUTA have said, if you just vote everybody out, then you got to bring in all new people. And what if the new person, you don't like their views more than the person who's in office right now?
Hopefully there are choices and not just one choice. Usually there are multiple people running.
Well, there are going to be some interesting choices for voters in Florida because they have a congressman right now, Randy Fine, but he is being primaried by a guy whose name you probably remember, Dan Bilzerian. Dan was the self-proclaimed king of Instagram at one point, lived a very luxurious and hedonistic lifestyle, and very proudly so. Now he's decided he wants to jump into politics, and he is running against Randy Fine, and it is definitely going to be a very heated race because of some very strong and controversial beliefs that Dan Bilzerian has. So he is joining us right now. Dan, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thank you. How you doing?
We're good.
So talk to us about why you've pivoted here and decided to run.
I just don't feel like anybody in government is doing what is in the best interest of Americans, and I feel like they are doing what is in the best interest of themselves, and you see that with Trump. I feel like every decision that Trump makes is based on what is best for him and his ego.
So you were somewhat vocally a supporter of President Trump in the past. When did that change?
Well, I think when he lied about every single thing that he said that he was running for, right? Like, this is not America first. It's been Israel first. And he just has broken promise after promise. And that, to me, is really the crux of the issue. Like, in my friend group, if you lie one time, your word is gone. It's shot. Nobody trusts you. And I've watched Trump lie to us over and over and over again. I mean, what did this idiot tell us? He said that we had already won the war. He told us that we had complete air superiority, that we could just fly anywhere we wanted. What did they do? They shot 3 of our planes down. Everything about this war has been a complete failure. And then he completely capitulated and accepted every single one of Iran's terms. I mean, he is going to allow them to have full control of the Strait of Hormuz. Not that he had a choice, but he's lifting all sanctions. We're paying them reparations. He's lifting all sanctions from anybody that was supporting Iran. We have to remove all troops from the area. And I mean, if you look at the 10 points, it's everything that Iran wanted.
Well, I mean, all that is being negotiated still, but
you're allowed to enrich uranium, and they don't have to allow nuclear inspections now. So what did we accomplish?
I will say, I think it's hard to argue with a single point you just made. I think a lot of people, frankly, myself included, agree with you on that. There's another element to this, which is Israel, and you mentioned Israel. And you are, you seem to view Israel as the enemy here. Could you explain?
Well, I mean, they're a terrorist nation. They were founded by terrorists, and they've been committing terrorism since their inception. I mean, and prior to their inception, they bombed the King David Hotel. They poisoned Palestinian wells. I mean, they've been a disaster. I mean, the Haganah, the Irgun, and the Stern Gang is what comprised the IDF, and those were all designated terrorist organizations. So, and the leaders of those organizations went on to become prime ministers of Israel. So this is a country that was founded on terrorism. They've been committing terrorist attacks. They've been committing a genocide, and we're paying for it to our own detriment, and they're dog walking us into wars. So, yeah, I don't know how you could ever view them as an ally. They've attacked U.S. warships. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of the different false flag attacks that they've committed, but it's been numerous. The Lavon affair, I mean, they bombed U.S. cinemas and British cinemas and libraries, trying to blame that on the Muslim Brotherhood.
I mean, Dan, I'm sorry, I just wanted to, because I know that some of the things you're talking about, and those are theories that are out there that are
No,
not
this
proven.
is not debated.
proven.
Look, there's, I don't want to spend the time kind of
Right.
getting into that because believe me, there's a big response to what you just said. The bigger thing to me is that you don't seem to have a problem with Israel, just Israel. You seem to have a problem with Jews.
Well, I mean, that's a ethnocentric state, and it's being run by Jews.
Well,
and
that's
I think
okay,
that-
but hold on.
disagree. I'm gonna
Let's talk about the Jews in the United States, not in Israel.
Okay.
You
So you're
called
running against Randy Fine.
You
the
called your
congressman.
opponent this fat Jew. So he's not from Israel, but you called a guy in Florida this fat Jew. How is that not anti-Semitic?
Well, he's a Jewish supremacist, and he puts Israel before America, and I think that he should be tried for treason.
This fat Jew is anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Dan.
I mean that's what you say, but how
No,
about
that's
every
what I.
single time
That's
that
what
he
I.
blasts
That's what I
Muslims?
know. I don't say
Well,
it. I know
he
it.
literally talks about how Muslims are lower than dogs. So is that Islamophobic?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is, and that wouldn't be. That's not appropriate for him to say either. If he had said that,
But he
and
does all the time, and he
So-
tweets that, and
so
he's a
what-
senator.
Are you anti-Semitic?
No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I think that that's kind of a made-up term. I think the Palestinians
Is it
are the
a
real
made-up
Semites.
term?
Yes, because if
Made
you
up
look
by-
at what
was
if you
Hit-
look
was-
at what a Semite
Was
is,
Hitler
the
anti-Semitic?
What's that?
Was Hitler anti-Semitic?
Like I said, it's the term is focused solely on Jews, but actual Semites are the Arabs, and Palestinians are Semites as well, and they actually have more DNA lineage to that region than any of the Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews that have taken it from them. So I kind of have issue with that term and how it's been hijacked to only talk about
anti-Jewish.
Jews.
So if you want to call it anti-Jewish, then you can call it anti-Jewish.
Well, I'm
but-
not going to call this anti-Jewish. When you say that this fat Jew, you could take another race and you could use another epithet, but you're anti-Semitic then.
I'm not. I
You
have
are.
Jewish friends.
Oh, some of your best friends are
I don't paint
Jewish?
all Jews with one brush, but he paints all Muslims with one brush, and it's accepted. And for some reason in this country, it is okay to just blast Muslims, bash them. You look at what Bill Maher said about Muslims. I mean, it's this double standard, and I don't like the double standard. And I look at him as a Jewish supremacist. He believes that Jews are better than other people, and he puts Israel before America. And so I have huge problems with that.
So if you've got a black friend that you don't like, do you use the N-word on him?
No, I
Well,
don't.
then what's the difference when you use the word fat Jew for a Jew you don't like?
Well, is Jew the same as because that is not that's not one is a slur, right? And one is describing a religion. So you can't compare the two.
Really?
There's a way
How can you compare those two?
There's a way you say it, Dan, that the intent is the same.
It's not the
splitting
same at
hairs
all.
here. So I want to ask a question.
One is a slur, one is a racial slur that I don't use, and the
Well,
other
you
one
just
is
used
describing
it.
an
You
ethnicity.
just used it.
Well, are we adults? Can we talk about a word? Was a word so offensive that that it just you can't say it? We have to say the
Yeah, the
N-word,
answer to that is yes.
So I want to ask a question.
People are too sensitive.
Dan, I know you I mean, people are sensitive, but if you're really going to run for Congress, you're going to face these questions on the campaign trail. You're going to face it in debates. And you have lived your life in a way that clearly those things are going to be brought up. As we're talking to you, I realize you have lots of money and that, spending it on this campaign, it may be fine for you. I'm just curious that you're running in Florida as a Republican and you are anti-Trump and clearly, I'll say anti-Jewish because you don't like the term anti-Semite, but you're clearly anti-Jewish, anti-Trump, running in Florida as a Republican. It doesn't add up like you really have a chance to win this. Why would you throw yourself into this race with all that against you?
So I don't like racism. I don't like supremacist mindset. And I think that's exactly what you have with Randy Fine. And I am against everything that he stands for. I don't like putting a foreign nation before America. Look, I don't want to be a congressman. I don't want to be in government. I want to be free diving on a beach.
You're running
for Congress.
Because nobody's doing it. Our country's being run by pedophiles. Like, nobody's operating the best interests of America. And so if nobody's going to step up and do it and everybody's frustrated. Everybody's like talking about it, but nobody's actually doing anything. So I feel like I'm in a unique position because I have a following and I am not affected by money, and I don't care about being in office. And I think the people that are going to be the best government leaders are the people that don't want to do it but feel obligated to do it, or do it because they want what's best for America. And that's what we need. Everybody else gets into office and says, oh, what can I get from this? How can I get rich? How can I help myself? How can I help my donors? And it should be it should be a selfless act. This should be like, more selfless than joining the military. I mean, because I was in the military for 4 years, and I didn't join the military as a selfless act. I did it because it was my best option. I'm doing this because I want to help the country.
All right. Well, I've never heard someone announce they're running for Congress and say, I don't want to be a congressman. But you know what? You're like you said, it's going to be a different approach. We will see how it turns out.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Yep. Good talking to you.
Coming up.
Well, in just a couple of days, the Artemis astronauts will be back on Earth.
It's
was
remarkable
to see the photos of the far side of the moon. It was amazing, right?
It's amazing.
Not everybody feels that way.
Be right back.
Well, in just a couple of days, the Artemis astronauts will be back on Earth. That is the plan. They will be splashing down off the coast of California near San Diego.
I got to say, it's
was
remarkable
to see the photos of the far side of the moon, which we hadn't seen photographed this way. It was amazing, right?
It's amazing.
Not everybody feels that way.
That
Look,
picture,
Earth rising.
That picture is so incredible, I think.
It is pretty amazing.
Not everybody likes it.
250,000 miles away.
Yep.
But yes, it is. Look, we've even in this office heard people be like, I don't really care, which I don't understand. You don't understand. We grew up in a generation where the space race was like an incredible thing that we were all glued to. We've talked to Anthony Anderson, who represents the other camp, who says that this just all seems like Artemis in particular, a huge waste of money.
He thinks it's folly.
It really doesn't make any sense to me when we look at the grand scheme of things about what we need here and at home for society.
100%.
I still drive around. I still see homelessness. I still see dilapidated buildings in the inner city. I still see programs that need funding that can't get funding that actually help people and things like that. So to spend this type of money just to circle a place that we've only gone to once in the last 60 years or so and not have anything and not do anything, what's it all for? We're in the middle of a war. Our economy is crashing. Gas prices are through the roof, but we sent 4 people, to go circle the block around the moon.
I like him a lot. I really do like Anthony Anderson a lot, but he's just wrong on this. When he talked, well, I'll tell you why. No, let me make the case here. Yes, he's saying we haven't dealt with homelessness sufficiently. We haven't dealt with problems in the inner city sufficiently. That's all true, but it's not like everything has to go to one place before it can go anywhere else. And the reality is the federal government doesn't fund homelessness issues. It's the state and local governments. The federal government should not be dealing with homelessness in Los Angeles. The state government should. So what the federal government does is bigger than one state. That's the whole concept of having.
But hold on.
It's true.
That's splitting hairs, though, because
it's not splitting hairs.
Because the concept of what he's saying is, I know what you're saying, that the states themselves, but don't tell me that there aren't federal programs that address some of those issues. Of course,
Harvey, there's a lot of welfare programs and the like. This is a larger issue than just a state phenomenon.
But wait a minute. The question is, does the federal government have to deal with certain things before they even look at something else?
No, this is all about allocating the finite resources that we have. They bring in money through taxes and they spend them on various programs.
Should they deal with the arts?
Of course.
Why? If it's homelessness versus the arts, why would you do the arts?
This is now getting silly.
No, it's not getting silly.
The issue I have is it's not in the name of scientific exploration, and space travel rarely has been in the past. We did it because we were in a race with the Soviets to get to the moon, and that's why we went to the moon. People say that this whole mission was because the taikonauts in China were thinking about going to the moon. So why are we doing this? You have said we make advances in discovery.
There have been advances.
There have, but that's not the motivation for when we get the political will to actually go up there. They do it because we're in these races with other nations.
Who are we racing to go to the moon
The
again?
Taikonauts.
Yes.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, absolutely. The Chinese Taikonauts were going to
There was
go.
absolutely a race.
And there was a space race when you were a kid. You absolutely know that's why Kennedy stood up there and said, we should get there.
There's an answer to that, which is been there, done that. We have done it already.
Not the far side.
But it's not about the far side.
we
We've
did
landed
once.
on the
We
moon.
did
Now they're
once.
saying it's about terraforming the moon so that we can have
By the way, we
people
have
live
gone
there
to
in the
the
future,
okay.
which maybe, but that's not what's really involved.
We have gone to the far side of the moon before. It just hasn't been photographed like this.
And how do you see
So,
anything?
but
How do you see brown spots? There's
His
no
whole
sun.
point about we got to deal. I've heard this for
Your point
decades.
is that you can do both.
Yes.
And I guess,
But
but his argument would be that we're not doing both, because it would be one thing if we were going to the moon, but we were also addressing these things. And it's
Well, we address it. We do it poorly.
And I get.
Well, we're not solving
Well, that's
the
his
most
point.
pressing
No,
problems
but that's the
domestically
point.
and internationally, is what he's saying. So why are we going to space?
I'm a complete fan of space. I think it's great, and I think it's fascinating just from a science perspective. But it's hard to argue with that when you see the issues that we are dealing with.
We also have an international conflict around the Middle East.
If you just looked at the waste, if you looked at the waste in the federal government, we could solve pretty much every urban problem in America.
Elon Musk. Yeah.
No. But if it were done properly, that was a good idea executed really poorly.
Yeah, that was just slashing.
That was a good idea executed poorly.
I agree with you.
It is interesting timing that this happened to go, this mission went down as we're at war, spending how many... If you take all the money that's been spent on the war and on the Artemis, and put that together, all of that money...
What about the
war?
war?
Could you do with
Just
it?
take the war, $1 billion a day.
Right.
If you want to talk about that,
we got to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
I understand why people will be like, why are we spending all this money?
there are good reasons, not just a reason.
Maybe not good enough reasons.
I think more than good enough reasons.
Matty Pipes, Los Angeles. I would just say Anthony Anderson is correct here. You know, like the U.S. is facing tons of hardships. He says homelessness, rising gas prices, a war we don't want, all these things. If I was going to play devil's advocate, I would say that I have always been really hopeful with how the U.S. invests in hope. And I think that's what this Artemis II trip is really about, an investment in hope. It's daring us to dream bigger than ourselves, bigger than our own planet. And if we're really going to start dissecting how the U.S. is investing money, there are way worse programs to bring to the chopping block.
Yeah. By the way, I love your background.
Thank you.
Did you do that?
No, it's an artist that I have.
It's really cool. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. I'll let him know.
You want to give him a shout out? I mean, here, we mentioned it.
Oh, no, he's an ex. He doesn't get a shout out.
That is funny.
Wow, we dug down there. Sometimes you just got to dig a little deeper.
That is funny. You ever heard of lease to own?
Yes. That is what the government has decided to do with a very controversial jet. Arguably, the jet that led to Kristi Noem getting the boot from Secretary of Department of Homeland Security.
This is a $70 million private jet that has all the accoutrement of the rich and famous.
Including a bedroom, which, look, Kristi Noem got skewered for using this jet.
She had another jet. She had another jet available to her, but she chose to lease this jet.
So
again, with the option to own.
How do you think Kristi Noem feels today after she got reamed on Capitol Hill for this jet, and now the White House has decided, you know what? That's not a bad idea. We'll keep that thing.
And guess who's going to use it? And guess who's going to use it?
The First Lady.
Mm-hmm. Melania Trump is going to use this jet.
Well, naturally, she should take Southwest or maybe Spirit, and she can get it on Expedia.
How about not buying the jet? Because every First Lady in history who's used airplanes has found another mode of transportation using a government plane.
Right.
So why are we spending $70 million?
Other cabinet members may use it as well.
Why are we spending $70 million on this thing?
Well,
I don't know if it was too late to back out.
No, it was a leased option. It was a lease. They had the option of just bailing because they paid all this money.
Right.
And they could have bailed, but they decided to pay the balance and own the jet.
Right. Okay. And you're outraged about this.
It's like stupid. It's like this country, we are in trouble. Like,
it seems hypocritical.
It is. By the way, it is. Because I looked this up. Did the math. It is 1,000th of a single percentage point of the U.S. budget this year.
So below 70 million.
No. Hey, I would love to see this kind of ferociousness with all the fraud, with the hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud.
I agree with you.
We just got done talking about how the government spends its money.
Let's make a deal.
I'm with you.
Okay, all right, here we go.
By the way, some would say this is fraud. But anyway.
Maybe.
It is fraud. It's just BS.
Yeah, and look, she lost her job. I don't love it either. We don't need to spend $70 million.
This is, it's like it's true. It's so hard to get outraged at everything that goes on, but this is just BS.
It's going to look cute parked next to the
Saudi jet,
Qatari one, or
the Qatari jet.
Yeah,
that one's nice.
Cute. His and hers.
Hi, I'm Ashley, Lexington, Kentucky. And when you get fired, you lose employee benefits. So Kristi Noem shouldn't feel anything about it.
But she's not getting it. Melania's getting it.
Listen, I just want to shout out to her, because if I was her, I'd use any plane I could to get away from that man.
Coming up.
So Euphoria had their big premiere party last night, but the spotlight was kind of stolen by someone who was working on the red carpet, interviewing the stars like Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney.
Hey, it's Ciara.
Yes,
but
Ciara
can I tell you,
from Summer House.
She literally pulled a scandal ball.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too.
Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
TMZ!
So Euphoria had their big premiere party last night, but the spotlight was kind of stolen by someone who was working on the red carpet, interviewing the stars like Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney.
Hey, it's Ciara.
Yes,
but
Ciara
can I tell
Miller
you,
from Summer House.
She literally pulled a scandal ball, because remember.
Those people.
No, what's her name?
Tom and Ariana.
Ariana is now the host of Love Island after this, so now she's doing red carpets.
Ciara Miller is doing red carpets, right. So she found a way to work in the Summer House drama, the current Summer House drama, which, if you've been under a rock, is basically that Ciara's ex, West, is now dating her best friend, Amanda. And everyone thinks that Amanda has broken girl code. So listen to how Ciara, while interviewing Sydney Sweeney, worked her own drama into a Euphoria question.
I mean, if you steal your friend's ex-boyfriend,
it's not good.
What do you think is the next step? I feel like you ought to get married.
I mean, I would hope so. You got to make it worth.
You got to make it worth that.
Like, make it worth something. Yeah. Not just worth too much pain.
Yeah.
I got two issues here. One is Ciara saying if you steal your ex-boyfriend. She didn't steal anything. She was long done with West before Amanda hooked up with her.
Long done? Wow.
Long done.
Wow.
And so steal is just the wrong word. Number two, the idea that you say, if you do this, which is, girl code is just stupid, but if if you believe in it,
you got to get married.
That you got to get married to whoever it is.
Because that makes it worth it.
I completely agree with them. And the reason she said steal is because Sydney's character in Euphoria steals her best friend's boyfriend.
But Ciara was making it about her, and she did not.
Well, it's both.
That was like an insinuation.
Amanda did not steal West.
Well, but in the show too, Sydney's friend was broken up with the boyfriend. I'm not deflecting.
You are
I'm telling you the facts.
Did Amanda steal West?
Technically, yes.
How?
Because he is still under Ciara's branch.
Right. She broke up with him.
They were broken up, but Amanda and Ciara are friends.
They were on a break, not necessarily broken up.
West was still trying to get Ciara in the show.
They were on a break, which is different than being broken up.
Friends.
They broke up.
No, it's not the same thing.
This is so dumb. And then Sydney, who I like, is marry the person.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally agree. You have to make it worth it.
Because if you marry the person, then you can say, look, it was
for
my
a reason.
person, which I don't believe
So before
that,
you
it was
date
my
them,
person.
before you get to know them the way you need to know somebody before you make a decision on whether you get married or not, you got to first decide, I'm going to get married to this person, and then I'm going to sleep with them.
Because that makes it worth it.
Amanda already knows Wes. If they get married, then it's worth it.
Oh, you guys.
You don't get it.
This
you don't
is
get
wild.
You just don't get it.
Hi, my name is Zoe, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Ciara was basically saying what a lot of us were thinking, because imagine blowing up your lives for something that's more than likely temporary and also losing your close relationships. However, what you guys say is shade. I call it keeping it real. And aside from that, I'm glad to see she's still going out, she's thriving, she's looking good. And if it wasn't clear before, it's definitely Team Ciara over here.
Here's what you should be applauding Ciara, because at least you didn't ask that boring-ass question about what are you wearing.
Okay, well, if I had the choice.
See, if you had a choice, you go with girl code.
Fine.
Coming up.
Did you know that denial is a river in Utah?
I was going to say delusion, but denial's better.
Now, apparently, some of the stars of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives say the show is coming back, except they're the only ones saying that.
They're the only ones saying this.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Big news out of Utah. Did you know that denial is a river in Utah?
I was going to say delusion, but denial's better.
Denial is a river in Utah now, apparently, because some of the stars of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives say the show is coming back, except they're the only ones saying that.
They're the only ones saying this. So,
Now,
Taylor Frankie Paul, we have no idea whether producers are going to ask her back or not. We can get into that in a minute. But obviously, she has her problems. ABC, which is really in charge of Mormon Wives, also canceled The Bachelorette because
of Taylor Frankie Paul.
So the idea of them saying, okay, she can be on Mormon Wives, a little weird.
But the rest of the cast has been posting some things that certainly have made fans think they're getting ready to come back. As you know, when the whole Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota thing blew up back in February, they stopped shooting Secret Lives of Mormon. They were in the middle of season 5 of shooting it, and they put the cameras down and said, this is serious, let's deal with that, and then we'll figure out when we come back. Well, the rest of the cast is ready to come back now, and it seems like they're launching sort of a publicity campaign to pressure the producers who are actually calling the shots.
Right, and the producers have said nothing.
Right, like one of the cast members put up a photo on social media where there's like a cameraman, like an old photo of a cameraman behind her. You have to remember also that the production company and Hulu had to launch a third-party investigation. They brought in a law firm to investigate these claims involving Dakota and Taylor. So just because the cast wants cameras to go up and the producers want cameras to go up to capture all this drama, they're waiting on a law firm to complete this investigation into these, past allegations. Right. You also have to remember that we broke the story that there's 2 spin-offs, Mormon Wives spin-offs in the works, one in Orange County here in LA, and a younger version out in Utah. So producers could pivot and focus on those spin-offs. So
where they can have all new problems with those casts.
And all new drama.
It's sort of like that old kind of joke that you listen to somebody at the other end of the table and what you just want to say is, yeah, I heard it. You're not that interesting. And that's the problem, is that without Taylor Frankie Paul, these women are not that interesting.
But they're never going to say that.
They're never going to. They think they're stars because they're on a show that was a hit show.
The reality is that Taylor Frankie Paul is the one who brought everybody
She's the
into
Nene
church,
Leakes,
so to speak. And now, if she's not there, maybe they shut down the church.
That's who we want to hear from right now.
So do you think, is it possible that Disney would bring Taylor Frankie Paul back into the fold on Mormon Wives after canceling The Bachelorette? I think the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, I think they could. It's a smaller, it's not as broad an audience, right?
But also, on The Bachelorette, you've got these guys who are trying to hook up with this woman who's got this big past. The past is more embraceable when it's in an ensemble like that.
Right.
And
and all the women on Secret Lives knew about that.
They knew about it.
Right. So it's not like
they talked about it at the beginning.
Exposing them to something they
didn't. I think you'd have to do it where you almost sit down with her first and kind of have her address, and say, what I did was
Yet another show.
This is a special.
Hi, Toby from New York here. I mean, Taylor knows what she's doing. She's always been a star, and I think she knows she's the star of Mormon Wives as well. You actually just saw her with Stefan Diggs out and about. These domestic abuse situations can get pretty dicey, and so I think she's just playing her cards right, letting the courts handle it. And as much as Hulu wants to be involved in this process, You got to let the courts decide some of this stuff.
Yeah, about that Stefan Diggs photo, that was AI. She wasn't actually hanging out with him, but
welcome
boy, that would be a
to the
thing.
brave new world.
Guess who's back? Back again on the streets of Hollywood. You might remember, you will certainly remember all of the cases he was involved in. A lawyer named Michael Avenatti. Well, he went to prison for ripping off, among other people, Stormy Daniels.
His client, remember, he famously filed a lawsuit on her behalf against one Donald Trump. Very blustery at one point.
Yeah.
One point even said he was going to run for president. He said Donald Trump was so corrupt that he was going to run for president.
And
then something happened.
Then he went to prison
Yeah.
for, like I said, ripping off Stormy Daniels and other clients and extorting Nike
for $20 million.
$20 million.
So he was actually sentenced to 14 years?
Yeah, originally.
And he served 30 months?
Served 30 months. It was 14 years, reduced to 11 years and 3 months on appeal, and he served a third of that time, roughly.
Yeah.
So he's now in a halfway house in Hollywood.
Right.
There are all sorts of conditions. He has to do some kind of mental health.
Yeah.
Stay away from drugs, drug
Yep.
testing. But he is back. By the way, he had his state bar license revoked.
Well,
unsurprisingly.
This is one of these plaintiffs' attorneys who was riding as high as anybody. He had his own personal planes. He had fleets of cars. He lived in a building here in LA that is millions of dollars to get into. This was the life he was leading, and it sort of came out. It was all based on allegedly some overcharging of clients in a big way, and then extorting Nike. To your point, what he was doing was basically threatening them, unless you settle with me, unless you pay me a lot of money to settle, I'm going to bring lawsuits that aren't really based in fact.
So what about this? So it seems like his story's been told now. What if Michael Avenatti, he is an aggressive guy.
Yeah.
So what if he comes out and he says, you know what? If Donald Trump can get convicted of various things and become president, why can't I come back? And he just mounts. No, I'm actually serious.
Wow.
It's a different time, folks.
You can't rule anything out
You
anymore.
can't rule anything out. However, he's got to stay in this halfway house until, 2028?
2028.
So he's going to miss the next...
You can run from the halfway house. Don't rule it out, Charles.
What a great ad. It's like, don't go halfway.
Don't go... Workshop that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels to me like he's not out, but he's out.
Well, no, he's out.
It doesn't make sense that you could get away with so much crime and be in a little security environment and then just have to have a halfway house and, some therapy after extorting tens of millions of dollars from people. But here we are.
I think it is interesting that he is in a halfway house in Hollywood. This is a guy
Hollywood.
who loves...
No kidding.
You don't think he's going to a studio to try and sell his story? Maybe trying to get into... He could get into all sorts of things.
Yeah.
In show business.
But Hollywood ain't what it used to be in that sense.
Well, that's true.
Coming up.
So Nancy Guthrie, the mystery continues. Still, as far as law enforcement is saying, no suspects, but they are still combing through all sorts of leads. Well, we talked to someone on our YouTube channel about one of the things they could have done.
Be right back.
So Nancy Guthrie, the mystery continues. Still, as far as law enforcement is saying, no suspects, but they are still combing through all sorts of leads.
It is a cold case, though.
And there are a lot of people, because of that, pointing fingers and wondering what could have been done differently, what should have been done differently by the Pima County Sheriff's Department and eventually the FBI, which was brought in when they could not solve the case. Well, we talked to someone, Jackson talked to us, someone on our YouTube channel about one of the things they could have done. This is really interesting. Jackson does a lot of great interviews on our YouTube channel. This one really got our attention because I hadn't thought of this, but he talked to a guy named Mike Gold, who was former NYPD and worked with cadaver dogs. This is what he said.
Cadaver dogs, human remain detection dogs, are highly trained specifically for this. They're a technology, a very sophisticated technology, actually considered by the courts as a scientific instrument, because they have the ability to detect invisible odors that are not detectable by humans. So they're highly trained. They should have been utilized in this case. The sheriff's decision not to use them is baffling to me. They have night vision, scotopic vision. They could go out in all kinds of environments. And for him to put them, I think I'm going to paraphrase, but I think he said we're going to put them on hold for now, which to me makes no sense.
Yeah, I interviewed this guy, and I think something important to mention about him is that he was one of the founding fathers of the NYPD K9 unit. Like, he knows about cadaver dogs and canines intimately, and according to him, as soon as they found out this was an abduction, the canines were the first thing that should have been deployed. And he's following the trend that all of the other investigators we've interviewed are following, which is highlighting Sheriff Nanos' incompetency, according to them.
Well, there are a lot of problems with the sheriff, but it's pretty clear that the kidnapper took Nancy Guthrie from her house into a car and then drove somewhere. So, personally, I think this person drove a long distance before ever taking her out of the car and maybe ended up in Mexico. And I think there's reason to believe that. How could a cadaver dog have found
work
that?
Yeah.
So he actually talks about that. It might not lead to the discovery of the person, but sense might lead to the discovery of new evidence. It could be a t-shirt or a glove or something that fell out of the car along the way that they could potentially use for DNA, which could further the investigation. So it doesn't always lead to the, discovery of the person, but it can also further the investigation.
I get it,
other
but
ways.
if you're relying on something to fall out of the car, when was the last time something fell out of your car when you were driving?
Hey, anything can happen.
No, I know. But look, I'm not saying it wouldn't have been a good idea. I just don't know it would yield fruit that,
that would have solved the case.
Right.
Johnny Benitez, Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, I definitely think that they should be doing everything possible and using every single resource they have. So they should definitely start using dogs to help find a mother. It's already been like a lengthy amount of time, and as time passes, people will probably be expecting negative news. So to maximize the use of resources right now is the best thing they could do and the best hope of actually getting the mother returned. I'm 84 years old, so.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, Johnny, and I think, unfortunately, at this point, it's far too late.
They're not going to work.
The dogs is not going to work now. Could it have worked if they brought him in that week? The day after, maybe. And even then,
unlikely. By the way, I spoke to the FBI this week because we've been getting these letters from this guy who says, "I know where she is. I want a Bitcoin." I just don't think that's going anywhere, frankly.
Coming up.
Turns out the only person who might be more excited about Justin Trudeau dating Katy Perry is, other than Justin Trudeau, is Justin Trudeau's son.
When I'm really happy with a song, send it. Yeah, she's always happy to give me advice or tell me what I should change or what if she's always she's super nice.
Be right back.
Where can you see huge stars in Hollywood? No, not the planetarium, that's for nerds. We mean the TMZ Celebrity Tour, where we've seen huge stars like Kevin Hart, Rihanna, Ben Affleck, The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, Lizzo, Lady Gaga, Ryan Seacrest, and Jamie Foxx. You'll learn the secrets of the city and see Hollywood as only TMZ can show you. So head to TMZTour.com and book your tickets for the TMZ Celebrity Tour.
Turns out the only person who might be more excited about Justin Trudeau dating Katy Perry is, other than Justin Trudeau, is Justin Trudeau's son. His son, Xavier, or goes by Zav, because he is a musician. And so, yes, there's the cool factor of my dad's dating Katy Perry.
But also, there's something that could help this kid launch his music career.
Indeed, and Zav talked about it on the Can't Be Censored podcast. Check it out.
Katy Perry, of course, has been in the news lately. Have you talked to her about the music? And
yeah, I have. When I'm really happy with a song, send it. Yeah, she's always happy to give me advice or tell me what I should change or what if she's always she's super nice. She's super down to earth. She's great, and I think that my dad's happy, so that's important. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we were asking your mom as well, kind of what this is like to see pictures and all that stuff, and she said it was noise. Is it noise to you sometimes as well?
Yeah, but just like any other picture, of my dad and my mom, or just my dad, or my life is just like so crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
So
so crazy.
The
man.
interesting thing about this is that this kid, you know, Justin was married to his wife for a long time, and they just recently divorced. So you got to wonder, how is the mother feeling?
Well, it sounds like they said they spoke to.
I think her name
his
is
ex.
Sophie.
I would think that Sophie would be, you know, she would be very open to him having a relationship with Katie because this is something that's his passion. He's got like 70,000 followers on Instagram. He's been posting all of his music. He does like R&B music. So for him to get tips from somebody that is one of the biggest pop stars in the world would be great for his career.
Not just tips, but Katy Perry can listen to a song. She's on American Idol, right?
As I say, he's got American Idol at home. He doesn't need.
She sends it over to some producer, and all of a sudden, boom, Zeb's career gets launched.
Or he could do a collab with her and be like a special guest on a song.
That would be his dream, I would think.
Yeah.
Dream. Get it?
Oh.
Great.
Teenage Dream?
Teenage Dream.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how old he is. Does that
He's
work?
18.
Just work
All
with
right, it
me.
works. It works. Teenage Dream.
Hey, this is Savannah from DC, and I think that the fact that he's happy that Katy Perry might, you know, be like his new stepmom is awesome. You know, I think Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry are kind of an unlikely duo, in my opinion. She's a far cry from Orlando Bloom, but, you know, if they're happy, they're happy. I mean, you know, I think that it could also be a great thing for this kid's career. So, of course, you know, he's going to say positive things about her. I mean, even the connections, you know, could be really helpful for him. So.
Speaking of connections, you're from D.C. Guess what we're doing on Monday?
Ooh, what? Do tell.
We are launching TMZ DC. Melissa, swing over to Jackson, because Jackson is going to be one of the people. He's going to be one of the people who is going to be out there in DC getting stories. And it is going to be awesome. So just watch on our social media. It's going to be awesome. TMZ DC.
Coming up.
You know who should have a reality show? It's Pope Leo.
Absolutely.
This guy is living the life, man. I mean, I
He's
understand
also cool.
When people go to the Vatican, obviously they want to get an audience with the Pope, but you got to be somebody pretty special. And the Harlem Globetrotters, pretty special.
Be right back.
You know who should have a reality show? It's Pope Leo.
Absolutely.
This guy is living the life, man. I mean, I
He's
understand
also cool.
When people go to the Vatican, obviously they want to get an audience with the Pope, but you got to be somebody pretty special. And the Harlem Globetrotters, pretty special still. And they were at the Vatican, and yes, got an audience with the Pope.
Now
and
watch
even
this.
What's really cool is
what he did. This is amazing. Look at this.
We know he's a big sports fan.
And watch. He's spinning the ball. And well, he tried.
I mean, I don't want to be too critical of the Pope.
I mean, he tried. It's awesome.
I will say this. Even though he didn't have it up there very long, it's very clear that the Pope has better basketball skills than someone else I know.
That's not,
than someone else
first
I
of
know.
all, this is not
because
fair. That's not true.
Listen, Shaq would co-sign on that also because he knows exactly how you didn't almost anything.
I almost
roll
made,
it.
No,
roll it.
Don't. I do not want you rolling.
There it is.
Do not
Too bad.
roll this.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.